It's been a nightmare trying to figure out. We're broadcasting like all over the place. We're broadcasting in 5 Facebook groups, a Facebook page, on YouTube. I think we're doing YouTube, and I think I just lost the connection with Instagram. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that sorted while this is going on. So anyways, hi, everyone. I'm Rebecca, the founder, admin of Fangirl Romance Rex, 3 Facebook groups that are all about books and authors. And we have a huge announcement today. So I'm going to pull in, I know you all love Stephanie Hudson. She's an amazing author. I'm going to pull her in to help me share this news. So hold on one second. Let me grab her. Let's see. Hi! Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Okay.
Me too. Yeah, no, it's fantastic. I'm like, we've been wanting to announce this for a bit, haven't we? And yeah, it's like just building up to this point. So yeah, we're very excited.
It's been really hard to keep it secret for so long.
I know. I can imagine. I know. First of all, I'd like to say hi to everybody, and thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, for sure.
No, it's awesome. So basically what we're here to chat about is about FFB. Now, for those of you who don't know FFB, it stands for Fiction Fans and Ball Gowns. And it is the event that we do kind of every year. And yeah, so it's a big book signing event, and it's basically everybody loves an excuse to wear a ball gown, right? Everybody loves the excuse to dress up. So we thought, well, why don't we combine that with people's love of books? And yeah, it's we've had 2 of them already, and they've just kept on getting bigger and better, I think. And obviously you came to the last one, didn't you, Rebecca?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And yeah, it's just, we always pick amazing wow venues, and it's one of those events where, like I said, it's so lovely to see everybody all dressed up, and especially after a day of lugging around books and for the book signing, so yeah, we're very excited. But this year, so the next one is the 15th and 16th of March, and we have the lovely Rebecca that's going to host it. So, yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, we are very excited. Yeah, no.
Oh, so excited.
Oh, no, it'd be fabulous to have you there. And, we kind of like touched on it more like last year, didn't we? Because obviously you were walking around and chatting to some authors, and we were like, why don't we just do this in like a bigger capacity, in more kind of structured way? And I think, yeah, it's just going to be so good to have it, because there's so many people obviously live in America that follow so many authors and would love to get the chance to chat to them and be at one of these events. And we just thought, well, how can we make that happen kind of virtually? And
right.
I think that's the good thing about what you're going to be doing there and everything, is giving everybody that opportunity to kind of feel a part of it, even though it's so far away. So I'll hand it over to you, and you can explain a little bit more like what you're going to be doing. Sorry, I'm just steamrolling it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so anyone who knows me knows I'm a ginormous fan of Afterlife by Stephanie Hudson. Huge fan. And this is so surreal, you guys. I'm getting emotional. This is just so cool because, it was about, 2.5 years ago that I opened up the original group, Fangirl Romance Rex. And it was actually called, it's funny, Urban and Romance Fantasy Paranormal Romance Book Lovers. Say that 10 times fast, right?
I remember when we went around together, like introducing you to like all of the authors before the event happened, and you had to, and I just felt like, oh, this poor woman has got to actually say this really long name every time I like introduced you, because there was no way I could say it. Like, this is Rebecca, and she runs
this big group, and it's Urban and romance fantasy. Yeah.
I was like, I'm never going to get this right. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. No. But it was just so funny because, it kind of like organically happened, right? Where I was like, oh, I want to go to FFB really bad as, just a fan of
Yep.
Afterlife. And just, everything's about, my husband's actually from England too. So I was like, I want to go over there and do all that. And then it turned out like a bunch of the moderators could go. So then we were all like, well, this is like kind of a mod, like fun time reunion. I wouldn't say reunion. It was the first time we met each other too,
Yeah.
And so we all showed up from the group there. And then I was like, would you mind if I do interviews? And you guys were like, yeah, we'll walk around and do interviews. And then it just became this like huge thing. So,
Yeah.
and when I was walking around and we were saying the name, I literally, like, I thought to myself, I've been meaning to change the name of the group at some point.
I remember after a few times, I think it was about the 5th person, and we kind of just looked at each other and I went, have you thought about changing the name?
Something just a little bit shorter and something easier
a little bit easier to say.
Right, yeah. So that was kind of obvious. And then when I got back from FFB, we all started talking about doing this for next year and making it official. And then it was like, well, what does that exactly mean? Like, are you just, am I gonna just be doing interviews again, or what, And so we've been talking about it, and it's been, under wraps, and it's kind of this whole like thing. So like officially, right? Fangirl Romance Rex, which is now 3 Facebook groups. It's the original urban fantasy, romantasy, paranormal romance. That's the big group. It's like, I think 45,000 members now, or close to it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's great. In 2 years, like it was just 15 of my book besties. It was just like 15 of my friends, and it's just turned into this huge thing.
No.
It's surreal. I was actually, I've got a new YouTube channel for the group, and I've been posting the videos from every month where we do the book giveaways.
Oh, that's cool.
From the first month, and I've been seeing me from back then, and it's just so funny. It's like if Rebecca today talked to Rebecca back then, I would be like, what? Like this, what? This is crazy, So yeah. So anyways, and then we have the author's corner, and then and that just happened because we had several authors that were like, I need a place where I can talk to other authors. Would you mind? And we actually started with an event, and it just didn't work well with notifications.
Right.
And then I was like, okay, well, then I'll open up the authors group. And then we've opened up that, and that's been really well. We have almost 1,000 people in it, and a lot of them authors, that's a huge amount of authors.
That's amazing.
I know. And then we and then just back in August, we get a lot of recommendations for like spicy contemporary romance, edgy, not just dark, but like Rockstar and Billionaire and all that. And so we were going to open up the original group to include all of those. And then I did a poll, and I got a lot of feedback saying, no, don't do that. Can you create another group?
Yeah.
Sure, let's create.
Yeah, why not? Why not? I mean, I totally get it.
There's a whole thing,
Yeah. I mean, I kind of get it because there's, but it's a funny one because there's such also a crossover, of like genres sometimes. But I understand, like, if somebody just loves like the supernatural element and doesn't necessarily, people go through phases as well. I don't know about you, but when you're reading books, like one book, you can start like reading paranormal, and then all of a sudden there'll be some slight of element in it, whether it's biker or, like Billionaire or something. And then all of a sudden you'll be like, oh, do you know what? Actually, I fancy going over to that bit. Like, it's almost like I'm just gonna try this section of the grocery store, and then that's it, so I get it. Having 2 separate groups, I think it doesn't muddy the waters. It's like, it's almost like if I fancy a contemporary romance, I know where to go, and I like that there's 2 groups. I do. Like, I can imagine it's a lot more work though, right?
It's a lot more work. I'm very lucky to I've had a volunteer group of women since almost the beginning, and they've been amazing, man. They just Katie Conquest. I'm going to give shout out Katie Conquest. Like, this woman, man, she's like, it's unbelievable. Amy, Holly, we have a newsletter now. Holly Patierno designed the whole newsletter. It's gorgeous. Dawn Davis does all the graphics. She has, I can never say it. It's like Dedalian Designs.
Right.
She does a whole bunch of graphics. She donates it all to the group for free.
Oh,
I mean,
that's amazing.
we've just been blessed, you know. So like, and then
Yeah.
when like, so for FFB, what's going to happen is Fangirl Romance Rex, which is now we have a page. We're trying to brand ourselves. So I don't want to like scare anyone. We're not changing the groups. The groups are everything we've been about since the beginning is the same thing. We're positive.
Yeah.
We're non-promotional. We're non-Facebook addy. This is a book bestie place where you can get real, genuine recommendations that's staying the same.
Yeah.
But we created a page, Fangirl Romance Rex, and some other social media for things like this. So that way, when someone wants us to maybe host, what that means is on Friday nights of FFB, I'm going to be hosting the authors panel. Like,
I know.
Like, I'm gonna be, last year at FFB, when I went up and I met the Twisted Sisters, I'm like, is this my life? Like, what?
Oh, bless you. They're so lovely. I love them. But
like, I just feel so fortunate. Like,
oh, that's so sweet. I think the thing is though, like, I mean, in regards to your group, it's just such a nice group. It's so friendly, and everybody, you know, I mean, for an author as well, to go in that group and see, you know, it's such a positive place, because, you know, when you become an author, you put yourself out there massively to be, you know, obliterated if obviously, you know, somebody doesn't like your book and everything like that. And it's not so much, you know, it's more a case of you want to please everybody. You know you can't, you know it's going to be impossible, but you still got it there. You're still like, you know, you want everybody to read your book and enjoy it. And that's just the nature of the beast. And I think, you know, the difference between your group and a lot of other groups is it's so positive. It's not like nobody's allowed to not like a book, but nobody's allowed to kind of author bash or get real personal. And, you know, and I think that's, it's a safe place for people who obviously want books recommended. And, you know, like I said, not everybody's going to like the same thing, but, you know, to see the recommendations there, to see your book being recommended there, and like, you know, having the feed of, yeah, I love this and everything. But it's also, if somebody doesn't like the book, it's not a negative, like, you know, space. It's just done in a really kind way.
Right.
And I love that. And that's like so rare. It's so rare, especially with like so many people in the group. And yeah, it's a lovely place for an author to be as well, because, you know, it's nice to like pop in there and go, oh my God, I've been recommended. That's like, and it does mean a lot to an author, you know, even somebody who's been doing this for like, you know, nearly 12 years. It's just, yeah, anyway, sorry, I am gonna waffle on and on and on, but I just wanted to say that as well. So yeah, it's fabulous. So yeah.
Well, you know, like a lot of people don't realize that the authors are in Facebook groups and they're reading the comments and the posts. They think they think that this author is like far, far away, you know, in the galaxy, you know, and they're going to come on there and they're going to say something and the author's not going to see it. Well, I tell you, in my group, nine times out of 10, the author sees it. Even big authors, you know, really big authors, they see it, you know, and you know, and that's it's always been my philosophy that you should electronically, whatever you would say to the person, you would say electronically. You know, if you wouldn't say it to their face, then don't write it, you know, publicly.
I 100% agree with you on that one. Yeah, definitely.
People forget it, you know, they're like keyboard warriors, you know, and they don't realize how hurtful it can be. And so one of our goals is this is like authors are readers too. And so this is a place that they can pick up recommendations, you know, they need a place to go where they don't need to worry about like seeing something bad about the book.
I have had so many recommendations off the group. It's unreal. Like, seriously, you know, and it's like I said, it's nice because sometimes you get in a bit of a book kind of, you know, like slog, and you kind of can't get out. It's like, you know, you start something, you're like, oh yeah, I'm not feeling it right now. Or, you know, I start something, I'm not feeling it right now. Yeah. But then you go into the group and it's like all there. And I've like read so many that like has been recommended, and sometimes you just think, you know, those recommendations mean so much to an author. Sorry, just 1 second. Blake is is in front of me waving, and I don't know what he's hoping to achieve.
Well, while you're doing that,
Okay. Thanks for that tip.
See,
So good.
let's see if I would. Oh, it says I'm live on. It says I'm live on Instagram. Am I live on Instagram? Can someone check the Fangirl Romance Rex? It says, I was gonna say, while you're doing that, let me go live on Instagram while this is going on.
Yeah.
I had like an error message at the beginning.
Blake's recommendation for us, I know, because he's done so many of these. I do tease him. But he said that for people just joining, we may want to keep repeating ourselves on what we're talking about, apparently.
Oh, that's a fair point. We should,
yeah.
And also we should remind people that we can't see your name unless you give StreamYard access to your name.
Right.
So it just looks like Facebook user to us, or, you know.
Yeah, because I can't see any comments. So if somebody's commenting.
Oh, you can? We have tons of comments.
No. Oh, do we? Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. So
okay.
look on your, you're on your phone, right? There should be a section called comments. There's one that's called comment and one that's called chat. There should be. So don't do chat.
I can't see a comment one. I can see Mike, Cam, chat, and more.
Okay. What if you, oh no, it's not more. That's weird. I was testing this before we started today. I pulled a couple people in. So that this wouldn't happen, but I don't know.
Well, I do apologize if anybody's asking me something or giving me a hello and I've not said anything, but hello. Hi, everybody. I'm not ignoring you, I promise.
Just lots of love, lots of everyone saying hi, where they're from. Yorkshire,
oh, that's cool.
UK, of course, lots of UK, right? Yeah, just a lot of really positive comments. Okay, I'll try to start reading some of this. Well, I can see comments. And I can see, like, Dawn Higgins. Hi, Dawn. I see your name.
Oh, hi, Dawn.
Candy. Well, we got someone from Brandon, Florida. Dorset. Now everyone's going to tell us where they're from. That's awesome. Dorset, UK. If you give StreamYard permission, then we'll know what your name is, guys. So, Liverpool. Oh, wow. There's a lot of people on, too. It's a lot of people.
That's good. Yeah. That's great.
So this is what because Blake just told us. So this is a big announcement because basically the Facebook groups that I run that are now renamed to a better name than the Urban and Romance Fantasy Paranormal Romance Book Lovers is now just Fangirl Romance Rex. And the fangirl is like a growl, like for alpha males. And it's supposed to be like, the book is all about positivity and loving on authors and books. So the concept is we're fangirling. It doesn't mean that we're all women. We have men in the group. It's just a term. It's like an adjective. Like we're all fangirling about books, and that's where the name came. And also, we all like alpha males. We do so, or growly males, or whatever. Whether they be
pretty much
romance or paranormal romance, we like the common denominator is romance. So that's where the name came from. So Fangirl Romance Rex has been asked by Stephanie Hudson, Hudson Indie Inc., Fiction Fans and Ball Gowns, to host the book signing Fiction Fan and Ball Gowns. And so we're gonna have a booth with Fangirl Romance Rex. We're gonna have moderators there. We're gonna be in pamphlets. I'm gonna be hosting the authors panel. We're gonna be doing interviews with all the authors. It's a whole thing. And it's very exciting.
I'm so excited. I think
so excited.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I mean, the one thing that we're doing differently this year as well that we haven't done before is we haven't done the Friday night author panel.
Yes.
So I'm really, really excited about that. Like that's, we've got some great people on the panel. I'm going to be on the panel. Hopefully I'm one of them. Hopefully I'm one of the ones that don't mess up. But yeah, so and so we've got the Twisted Sisters that are going to be on the panel, and we've got Jodie Ellen Malpass on the panel. So if you've obviously read like This Man series and stuff, like I'm so excited to meet her because this will be her first book signing for FFB, and that's just that's going to be fabulous. We're really looking forward to that. And there's just there's some really great people. And I think what the lovely thing for us as well is that every year we do this, you've got like more and more authors that want to be involved, but you've also got the same authors as well that want to come back. And I think that's so important it really validates the fact that it's a great event. And, you know, I've got to give a shout out to my team as well, you know, because they just work so hard on trying to get this
They're amazing.
Absolutely flawless. So yeah, Claire and Libby, and for everybody as well, like we have like really cool team in the background of volunteers that come and just work their ass off all day. And yeah, it's just great. Because obviously, you know, I'm kind of in the background of the planning. You know, I basically get to sit there and go, right, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, let's make this happen, you know. And I'm one of those annoying people that come up with the ideas and then don't have to see it through because I have a team of amazing people that do it for me. So I'm very lucky in that sense, but I'm probably also very annoying. I'm like,
we were laughing because we kind of got so last year when we went out, we didn't mean to, but we sort of got swept in. Amy Reynolds, who's a moderator of the group, and it's the point where like we started helping set up the whole day. Like I said, it was just accidental. Like we just, you know, we ended up being at the venue, and then boom, we got swept into everything, which we were happy to help. But I think we were all joking that everyone needs a shirt that says "Everyone needs an Amy," because she was so good. I don't know if you remember, she was so good.
So good. I remember, like, so I think a lot of people don't realize that, like, so I will pick a part of it and I will work at that part, and usually it's something to artistic. So last year was crafting. So last year it was the candelabras in the middle of the table. So I bought all the candelabras. I had to glue all the ivy on, but I then made hundreds. I don't know what went through my head. It was like, oh, I can make paper flowers. And they're beautiful and they're so delicate and everything. But after about 500 of them, I wanted to kill myself by a paper cut, because I'm just like, why do I do this to myself? And the day of the setup, I was still upstairs gluing flowers to these candelabras, and everybody around me is just like, oh my God, what is she doing? But it's one of the privileges, I suppose, and one of also the nightmares of kind of being the person not in charge, but you know what I mean? The person, because obviously, you know, it's my baby, you know, like FFB is kind of, I'm obviously the one that started it. So it means that I kind of get a say in these crazy ideas. And I don't think it's a good idea, but because nobody wants to say no to me at this point, I come up with the idea of going, let's do this. And they're all like, yeah. So do you think you're going to have time? And I'm like, yeah, of course. To the wire every year. And it's like, the first one, I was still body painting 2 models that I hired. I was literally like, Claire was coming running up to my table going, I have to let people in and you're still painting people. Like, what are you doing?
Well, we like I said, Amy and I kind of got swept up into helping, which we were fine with. So we went inside, we did tables, we got everything ready, you know, and then we're about done. And it was like, maybe like around 3 or something, 3:30 on a Friday. And then I go up to Blake and I said, what else needs to be done? What else do you need help with? And he goes, well, Stephanie's upstairs working on the candelabras. And we said, okay, sure, we can go help her. So we went upstairs and there you were all by yourself in this massive room with your glue gun and your plant leaves, you know, and you're like, clipping, gluing. She was on it, you know, she was doing her thing. And Amy and I are like, okay, how can we help you? Yeah,
if anybody thinks I'm having like a diva moment where I'm like just sitting on my ass somewhere, just like drinking tea and stuff, I think, I don't.
You were adamant, man. Those were going to get done. And like, even Blake walked in and he's like, babe, he's like, they're closing. They're closing in 10 minutes. And you're like, no, it's okay. I can keep doing it. And Amy and I, they won't know I'm here. We're just like, we're doing what Stephanie's asking. We're just going. We're just doing it. And then like at 6 o'clock, he's like, honey, they're closed. You need, and you're like, okay, I'm hurrying. And then like at 6:05, he's like, I don't think you understand this. They are actually closed. Stephanie, you need to leave.
Like there's a load of people waiting to close the door, and I'm like, I just got one more.
More candelabra. And then you got up the next morning and continued them, didn't you?
Yeah, I had to get up early the next morning and carry them. I'm like, oh my God.
On the actual day of the signing, you got up the next morning. And when did authors get there? Like around 9:30, right?
Yeah.
So you were there really early.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, just no longer not painting people this time. Actually, gluing candelabras. But yeah, no. I mean, I don't know though. I love that part of it. It's almost like, because I can't help in so much of the organization of it, you know, like ringing grounds and booking, like, you know, caterers and things like that. I think it's my contribution that I can give, you know. I'm like, everybody else has planned all that bit. I'm like, what can I do? And I think everybody hates it because it's almost like whatever comes with me is chaotic and usually to the last minute. And I think poor Claire and Libby are just like, oh my God, what is she going to come up with next? Like, it's like,
it was fun. But I actually really enjoyed that, because for those couple hours, just Amy and I, we were just talking, you know, about the books and stuff and afterlife, and, you know, hearing, you know, some, I don't know if secrets is the right word, but just some interesting information, you know, about your process and stuff. It was cool.
Yeah.
It was really cool. And then after all of that, we went out and said hi, and we went out for drinks with anyone showing up at the event.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I love about you is, like, you go and you meet with your fans, and you'll stay to the very last person, so that way they get a chance to say hi and talk about the books. And I love that.
I think the thing is, for me though, you know, I owe, and you know, I constantly say it because you know, it's forever true. But for me, and for most authors, to be honest, I've got, you know, I've got so much to be thankful for, and I owe it all to my fans, because, you know, they have changed my life. You know, I've always said you can write the best book in the world, but unless you've got fans out there that actually buy it, or, you know, people who actually read it, then it means very little, you know. But, you know, if you, for me, I've been very, very lucky in the sense that I've always done this full time. You know, after I wrote the first two books, and I basically, then the second I published them or self-published them, I was lucky enough to be on maternity leave at the time. So I've never had to go back to another job, because I instantly was able then to make a career out of it. So you know, and I know I'm extremely lucky because of that, but I owe that to my fan base. So, like, you know, to get to be able to, like, meet these people and that I've seen online commenting, or, you know, you see posting pictures of, you know, products that you've, you know, afterlife products and things that you sell and everything. And it, you know, and everybody pays, you know, like it's the travel, it's the stay, it's the, you know, the ticket, it's, you know, I feel so guilty when somebody turns up on my table and they've got a massive pile of books that they are just unloading from a trolley, and you're just like, these poor people have had to carry all of these books around. It's like, you know, I owe so much, you know, and I don't know, it just getting a chance to just chat to people and talk to them and is really important to me. And it's one of my favorite moments. And it's the same as I always have, like, I struggle to like be emotional in front of people, because I never, like, I always hold back because I don't like to make people feel awkward, like if I get teary or I get, like, overly emotional. But I always have a minute of when it's you know, it's the room full of people and you see everybody there all laughing and joking and talking to their favorite authors and buying books and everything. And then, you know, it's the same. I have the same moment in the evenings, but I always like look at everybody, this sea of people, and just think, my God, I did this, you know. And I have one of those real moments of just, you know, I'm proud of myself, but I'm proud of everybody else in the room. And I see my team like just working their ass off, and then, you know, and the volunteers. And I did a speech. I always do a speech, you know, and every time I do this speech, you know, I feel myself get emotional, you know, speaking on the mic. I mean, I have obviously no problem speaking because I do it a lot.
You and I have that in common. We were laughing about, we didn't know how long the live would go. We're like, it's
Stephanie
and Rebecca.
It was like, I'm like, hey, it's okay. Blake's putting the kids to bed. It's fine.
I do lives every month in the group, and I just like, everyone knows like it goes an hour and a half. It just, you know.
Oh my God, it's the same as me when I do lives in my group. It's like I just waffle on and on and on, and yeah, the people can't get rid of me.
But like, you know, the fact that you've always been so good to your fans is actually a lot of why I'm in the situation I'm in today, right? Because when my group was tiny, you know, just 2 years ago, it was just, you know, 15 people, and I had decided, so a lot of people know the story, but probably a lot of people don't, because it's been a while since I've told anyone about it. But, you know, what had happened is I had created my own group for just people I knew and that read. And really, out of those people, I was the big reader. I was the one doing a book every 3 days. Most people were reading like normal, like a book a month, you know. And I'm a book every 3 days, and I'm doing all the urban fantasy, paranormal romance stuff, you know. And so I was like always doing these posts recommending books in my group, but it wasn't getting a lot of traction, right?
Yeah.
And so I was jumping on other Facebook groups, and you know, and getting recommendations there, and I noticed how really negative it was, and that's what really bothered me. Like, you know, you go to some of these groups and someone will post, tell us what book you hate the most and why, you know. And it's 1,000 comments of people talking about all these books that they hate, and that really bugged me. And also there was another author, funny enough, she has the same last name as you, Hudson, Angela Hudson, who wrote Dark Secrets, and she was like blacklisted out of the group, and it wasn't even her fault at all, but they had decided they didn't like her books and they just blacklisted her. And I was really upset by all that. So I was like, you know what, dang it, I got a group that's got 100 posts from myself. I'm just going to open up and see what happens. And where I'm going with all that is I thought, you know, let me reach out to a couple authors and see if anyone will let me tell their members about the group, to see if anyone wants to join a recommendation group. And so I reached out to a bunch of authors. And you were the first one actually that I reached out to, or very close to first. And you immediately responded back to me on Messenger, and we started talking and became friends. I couldn't believe you responded back to me, and then you let me post in your group, and then I had, you know, 300 people overnight. So 15 people up to 300 people. It's huge, you know. And I remember I was so blown away, you know. And I had authors turn me down. I had authors tell me, no, we believe that, you know, we're just trying to grow our own group here. We don't want to.
I bet they wouldn't turn you down now.
Well, no, they don't.
No, I bet you they don't. I remember,
and I haven't reached back out to those authors because it's like, you know, you weren't willing to support me when I was a baby, but now you're interested now that I'm big, and that says a lot about character. And and I believe in character. So where this is all going is you had a lot to do with this group growing.
Well, thank you.
On, I mean, I've never forgotten it, and
that's really very, very kind of you to say. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, I think I totally agree. You know, positivity breeds positivity. You know, and you know, this is a creative medium. You know, at the end of the day, it's something that people can lose themselves. And for me, reading is such a personal thing. It's not like TV. It's not like anything else, you know, because nobody sees the same character in their mind. You know, what I write, somebody else will see somebody totally different or something totally different. And I love that, because it means that reading becomes a very personal thing. And it also can be an extremely therapeutic thing. You know, it
Yes,
can
it is very.
help
It's an
people
escape.
get over things and focus their mind and their energy on something fantasy, or, you know, and that I think is just, it should be a positive thing. And
Hmm.
I, like I said at the beginning, I get that not everybody is going to enjoy the same books and things like that. But just because you don't like something, it doesn't mean that I think you should have the right to bash the author for
Exactly.
creating it, or bash other people for reading it and
Yeah.
liking it. I mean, that's
Or shame
awful.
them, you know,
I
shame
think
them.
that's, yeah, that's the thing
Yeah.
that annoys me the most. It's like I've had that before, and I'm like, no, 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 fine, pick on me, but leave them alone, leave them out of it, because
Yeah.
you know, you should never ever, you know, have the right to, you know, call somebody for their passion, or somebody for what they love, or somebody, you know, if somebody wants to dress a certain way, that's them expressing themselves, and it shows, you know, it shows a part of a person. And I just think to pick at that and be really negative is a horrible thing. And then that's one of the things that I love about your group the most. It's like, and it's the same as our group, you know, we pride ourselves on it being a very, very positive
And
place
it is.
and a
And it's a
very
very active
safe
group.
place. Yeah, a
Very
very
active.
active, you know. It's, I mean, it's great. I get to look at so many posts of dishy men, and
There are a
you
lot
know,
of eye candy posts in that group. It's, you know, it's
honestly,
great.
I'm like, it's brilliant. The pictures, like sometimes somebody will post something and it's nothing to do with the book, but it's so gothic and beautiful. I'll be like, oh, I've got to steal that. I've got to write that in my book somewhere. So it's like I get all
Yeah.
of these ideas, and it's like everybody's on the same wavelength, you know, everybody's just passionate about something. And, you know, it's lovely to still be at the core of that.
Yeah, yeah,
And
exactly.
it's a
You know,
magical thing. Yeah.
you
But
know, I
I
think
also know never ever to take advantage. And I also know never to take it, um, you know, what's the word I'm looking for?
for granted.
For granted.
I feel the
Squirrel.
same way. I feel the same way. It's like every day you just have to be thankful and appreciative, you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
humble,
100%.
and just like, oh my gosh, I can't, you know, it's
Mm,
just that's how I feel too, you know.
yeah. No.
But you know, I think too you know, I'm really big in the phrase that not every book is for everyone,
Yeah.
and it's very subjective, and you should not yuck someone else's yum. That's another phrase that we're
Yeah.
all about too. And I think like a lot of times that that's discouraging in some of these other groups, other than the book bashing, is just the you know, like take the OG group that we call OG now, the original group 45K. It's the OG group, right? The
Yeah.
urban fantasy, romance, fantasy, and paranormal romance, right?
Yeah.
Those are three very different genres from one another. You know,
Yeah.
when you read a paranormal romance, it is all about the romance, number one, right? And typically it's modern. It takes place in the modern world. It's streamlined writing. It's first person a lot of times these days.
Yeah.
Some of the older ones are third person. You know, it's a certain it's a certain feel to it, right?
Yeah.
Whereas you take a romance fantasy or a fantasy romance, it's set in another world. It has
Yeah.
maps at the beginning of the book. It's very descriptive, tons of world building. Look at like Crescent City, you know, like tons of world building, right?
Yeah.
So there's certain people that love that. They love all of that description and the world building. They like their maps, they like their legends, you know, they like to be in the Fey realm. And then there's certain people, this tends to be me. I like books that start in a bar. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like the bartender, you know, and the guy walks up with the motorcycle outfit on
Yeah.
or whatever, the leather jackets, big thighs, walks into the bar. You know, that's me.
Yeah.
So that's what
Yeah.
I tend to gravitate towards, although I like romance fantasy. So you can get someone who loves on a romance fantasy, but then someone who doesn't like a romance fantasy and say that book stinks. Now that you've got another romance fantasy person who's reading that thread and will not go try it because that person who doesn't really like romance fantasy just said it was bad.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
and the other thing too is like what a lot of people don't think about. Sorry, I'm on my pedestal. That's I
No,
kind of
go
can't
for
speak
it.
sometimes. A lot of people don't think about is like when someone says that they love a book and they're so passionate about it and it's a very personal connection, right?
Yeah.
And they drop a post about it. Oh, guys, I just read this book. It's so amazing. And 15 people get on there and say that it's terrible or that they DNF'd it. It actually hurts the person who posted
Yeah.
feeling.
Of
It
course
hurts
it
your
does.
feeling. You don't
Yeah.
mean to, but it feels like Okay, well, I really loved it. You know, it's like, well, thanks for being a Debbie Downer.
Yeah,
Thanks for
exactly. I
raining on
think
my parade.
I know, exactly. I mean, I'm very much of the opinion that if you don't have something nice to say, then don't say it at
Don't
all.
say it
But
at all. Yeah,
uh,
I grew up that
you
way
know,
too. Golden rule.
unfortunately, the way that social media is, it basically gives everybody the option to voice their opinions no matter what, because like you said, you're not facing somebody. There is a huge difference, and I think when your opinions obviously change. I mean, I've had people that have said, oh, I tried Afterlife, I couldn't get into it, and bearing in mind Afterlife is pretty big. I mean, I totally get it. But at the end of the day, they admitted that they wanted a quick read. Well,
Yeah,
Afterlife is like
it's
nearly
not quick.
300,000 words, people. It's
Yeah,
never going to be a quick read. And
right.
so it, I get it, but then they have also, the same people have gone back and gone, you know what, I was in a bad headspace, I wasn't in the
Yeah,
right place at the
yeah,
time, I wanted to watch, I stopped to watch this and I stopped to do this, and then I've actually gone back and read it. And which is lovely for them to admit, which is great, but there's an awful lot of people that don't admit that and just basically go out and bash something that is like, well, you know,
like this is your mood. Like you were moody
yeah,
at the
it's
time,
like,
and
you
that's why
almost
you don't
want
like
to
the,
say,
or like
have,
you have triggers, but yet you ignored the trigger warnings.
yeah, exactly.
It's
It's
like,
kind of like,
oh my gosh, this has MM in it. I don't like MM. Well, it said it in the description. Why
yeah.
did you pick it up?
I remember when I first, and to be honest, it was probably one of the best lessons that I'd ever had as an author. So I can't complain too much. But I remember one of my first bad reviews, and this woman ripped me a new one, or tried to at least. And one of her major complaints was the fact that I'm an English person and I've moved to America, and do you know how hard it is to get like an American license? That was it. And I was like, hang on a minute. You're basically slagging off my book because
That is the most like
yeah,
nice
you had
thing.
problems
Like
getting an American
exactly.
license.
Yeah, I know exactly.
It's
Exactly.
like taking over the DMV.
Yeah, yeah. It's not your fault. Exactly. That's just
but
that's
it was
crazy.
but the one thing it taught me is that if you don't do your research, if you do not, like, the smallest amount of research, like the minute things, like knowing what a road name is and what it looks like, and what is in a
Yeah.
different town, or just the little things, if you don't do your homework, there is always going to be somebody there that will
That
know
knows.
it and
Yeah.
pick you up on it. And when you include, like I do, a lot of historical fact, my God, you've got to be right on those facts, because you will get some scholar out there who specializes in paper that's 2,000 years old. And they will tell you what was in it, what wasn't in it, where it was, where it wasn't, and yeah, every bit of information. So, and I think that's
Yeah.
the thing, when people are reading a book, a lot of the times, for me, the research is everything, because I want that book to be as spot on as
Yeah.
I can humanly get it. But it also, people don't understand that sometimes one line in a book may have taken me 3 hours of research to get.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's that you get really passionate about. And but again, if I've written a book and I don't have anybody come back to me and say, well, this isn't right, I'm like, it's a win, guys. Tick. I'm like, yes, nobody's complaining about that, or nobody's complaining about that. So yeah, it's just funny. I don't know how we got on this conversation, by the way. I just
I don't
feel
know
like
either, but
I'm like on my own pedestal here now.
I know it's easy to get on a pedestal, isn't it?
Yeah.
I saw a comment from Tracy O'Keefe that I wanted to say. She says, I never forget going to a book signing and the author actually poo-pooed people who read romance, Yet this author also wrote a form of romance because they wrote historical romance, historical fiction. I was going to say, when I read that comment, it made me think about one of the reasons why I opened up the groups as having the romance common denominator is because I was being shamed in urban fantasy groups for asking for urban fantasies that had heavy romance. I was being shamed. There was a lot of people going on there telling me, that's, making fun of me for wanting a little bit of a steamy plot line with my urban fantasy.
Why?
And it's like, and it blows my mind a little, and that's why like I made the common denominator romance. It blows my mind because if you research it, romance is the #1 genre for books.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
And also really, really like, sorry, a little tiny like pedestal thing as well. A lot of people will say, I'm gonna get some people probably gonna, I gotta be careful how I say this. A lot of people will say, I want a book that actually has a plot line. Like they'll say, I like romance, but I want an actual plot line. Like, and I understand that phrase, but romance is a plot line.
Yeah, of course it is.
I mean, there's a whole genre about it, and I think you need to be a little bit more careful how we say that, because I think it is a little bit derogatory and negative to a whole genre that is the #1 genre out there.
I've always worked
I would like to have a book that has a small amount of sex scenes. That's a good way to say it, or steam. Spice.
Well, for me, the story's always led the book. The sex has never led the story,
Right.
So the story leads the sex, should I say, and the sex has never led the story. One thing
that's erotica, and that's different.
Yeah, that's erotica is like, you're picking that baby up for a reason. At the end of the day, it's like, I'm a lady, but my porn is reading, type thing, and that's it, but sorry, I just said that, didn't I?
No, I was just laughing. I was just like, I opened up a can of worms. I didn't mean to open
No, but it's a great conversation. It's a great conversation.
It's fun.
But,
it's fun.
At the end of the day, my books have so many different elements of them. They're almost like, they get to a certain point where they're almost like a crossover to fantasy, and it's heavily story based, because of, at the end of the day, we're writing 12 books and it's all one big story is not to blow my own trumpet, but it's quite hard to do, but especially when you're just writing about 2 characters throughout a 12-book saga, because usually long series are about multiple characters within the same world, and mine are usually about 2 main characters, but a really, really, really long story.
Yes.
Because I don't know when to stop. But my biggest thing is at its core, it is a love story. It's, love can conquer all, and all that I throw at them as an author, and they can still, take on the world and do it together. And that is always, it is that main element. It is a romance. It is about love.
Yeah. And romance. That's all I'm trying. Like, sorry, it is a plot line. Romance is a plot line.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
What people are trying to say is really the steam part of it, I think. But
I can understand that. Do you know what? It actually surprises me that I don't get complaints when they come across a book and it doesn't have any sex in it. It's just heavily, obviously I've got different books that have got lots of sex in it. And my rule of thumb is that if 2 people just get together, guess what? They have lots of sex. That's usually what happens, people. In real life, that's actually what happens. So I always have that rule of thumb. I'm like, if my 2 characters just got together, trust me, they're having a lot. But if they spend, if they spend a book like where they're trying to fight to get back together again, then nobody's having sex.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So it's funny how I never get that complaint. I never get there was no sex in this book complaint, but it's almost like that lead up. I love the slow burn. I love the build up, like, 2 characters fighting to get back together, and then all of a sudden they do it and it's like explosive. But if I read a book and all it is sex, I'm like, by the end of it, I'm like, when they're doing it, I'm like, meh. Do you know what I mean? Like, I almost want that big moment.
Yeah.
I'm like, the big build up to it. So it's like another pet hate of mine is if two characters get together at the beginning way too soon. So unless you're going to rip them apart at some point and it's about them coming back together, I'm like all about the chase. I love the chase.
Me too. Me too. Like a lot of times with series, if they get together too quickly, I'm like, oh,
yeah,
okay, the rest of it's kind of cool, but what?
yeah, exactly. It's like, what
It has
now?
to be a really good non-romantic plot line to keep me going if the romantic plot line is resolved.
Yeah. No, I got that.
Yeah,
How did we get onto this? It's almost like we're supposed to be talking about books or something.
I don't know. We just
I love it.
Bookies. Yeah, okay, so for anyone who's just joined, oh my gosh. The big announcement. Go ahead, Stephanie. I said it last time. You can say what it is now.
So the big announcement, obviously, I run a book signing event every year in England. Excuse me. And it's called FFB, which is Fiction, Fans and Ball Gowns. And we do it every year around March. And this year's dates is going to be the 15th and 16th. And I should probably mention at this point, so the whole premise behind it is that we have a big book signing during the day in a fabulous venue, which I just feel like is just such a big element for Fiction, Fans and Ball Gowns. It's like one of our things now. It's like been in a cathedral and a monastery, and it's great. So and then everybody goes away at the end of it and then comes back later on in their ball gowns, and we always theme it as well. So, and I haven't spoken about this year's theme. This year's theme is like fae. It's like fae and fantasy romance. So that's the big theme this year.
Awesome.
I know, I can't wait. It's gonna look so pretty. But yeah, so we actually had some more tickets come on sale. So we've got some more day tickets that have come on sale, but we've also got some more of the evening tickets as well, which I think they're the ones that sell out the most. So we've actually released a couple of more of those. So yeah, you've got to be very quick to get those though, because I think they got released like a couple of days ago or something. So I don't think there's many left. But obviously we do throw this event every year, and I'm hoping that the lovely Rebecca will come and host it every year, but this is going to be your first official kind of hosting to come back. And yeah, I just think it's going to be so lovely to see you interviewing the authors, and obviously doing the videoing and everything like that. And just like, I also think it's really nice, like, because obviously for people that can't travel for it or can't be there for any reason, but obviously to be a part of it via like live streaming and being able to see it like when you upload the videos and everything, just to be able to like be a part of it, I just think it's going to be really, really special. And also to be able to see the kind of the behind the scenes.
Yes.
I don't know about you, but I love being able to see behind the scenes. Like, you almost like, it's all pretty and perfect and wonderful, but like it's like craziness behind the scenes. It's like the duck's legs going like that, but they look really serene on top. It's like, that's pretty much what it'll be like. Which now, because obviously you were there last year.
Yes. Yep.
And you know the deal now. You know what it takes. It's exhausting, but in just such a good way. We love it.
It's great. It's so much fun. We had so much fun there.
Yeah.
And I'm really
I loved your outfit change video. That was probably one of my favorite things ever. Like, I remember, because Caroline filmed it, didn't she?
Yes, I'll have to repost it. I'll have to post it on the we've got all so once I realized that we were going to be hosting Fangirl Romance, FFB, Fangirl Romance Rex is going to be hosting FFB,
Yeah.
it really kind of opens a door, right, for Fangirl Romance Rex, because we can do book signings in the future, hosting, all kinds of different things, you know, and there's a neat feature there. So I created an Instagram, I created a TikTok, I created a Facebook page. So you guys, if you want to follow me all over there, I got a YouTube channel. Anyway, so I'll find that video and I'll post it kind of everywhere to remind everyone. But
you have to.
Yeah.
It was just so funny.
It was so funny.
Oh, it was brilliant. That needs to be on TikTok because that was just hilarious.
I'll post it on all the handles. So the funny thing, so what happened is, and I'll let you tell some of the story because the button, but
it was that automatic door opening button that just seemed to like take forever, and it was almost like, did you press it twice and it cancelled out the first time opening? It was like press, and why is it not opening? Like, why is it taking forever? I don't mind, but you wanted it as like this really quick transition of, and she was just filming it for ages, and it's like, I'm just waiting. It's like, have you ever seen those like videos where it just says 1 million years later? You like it's like it's like, I was cracked up. Sorry, you have to repost it.
Yeah, I'll repost it. But you know, in America, like a lot of brides will have two dresses. They'll do a a ceremony dress, and they'll do a reception dress, right? So I went to TJ Maxx, and I'm looking for really expensive gown here at TJ Maxx for FFB, and I wanted something that was steampunky. So I wanted something that was like brown sequencing in my brand steampunk, and I found there were only 4 dresses there that were formal. 2 of them was the short dress I wore, and the other one was a long dress I wore, and they both fit me. I was like, this is meant to be. And I couldn't decide. So I was like, I'm just going to be like an American bride. I'm going to go and I'm going to wear, for the dinner, I'm going to wear one thing. And for the party, I'm going to wear something else. And Caroline filmed me, and it was just so funny.
It's brilliant. Yeah. Such a good idea. I think I might do that because, like, I wore that skirt that I made, and it was so heavy and big. And I'm thinking, and then there's obviously that TikTok video of me dancing on the dance floor, doing a dance off, which is just in a ball gown. It looks so wrong. It's like there's no movement in this thing, but for somehow I just I tried.
Oh my gosh, it was so
yeah, maybe I should do that whole changing thing.
And I love that you do a ball for your signing. Like a lot of signings don't have that, a dressy ball, and I think that's really, really cool. It's nice for.
I think the thing is,
as women now that we're old, like when, we don't have a homecoming or prom to go to.
Yeah, exactly. And I think everybody deserves like that chance, that night, that magical night to just, get dressed up in a big dress and know they're going to walk in there and not be judged by anybody, because you've got people who just wear whatever they want. They can go full hog and make their dress and have it light up and, or just wear, a kind of a simple dress that they feel comfortable in. It's nobody judges anybody. And that's the thing that I love. I love the fact that these are events that, people are just going to be walking in from all walks of life and they're going to be just comfortable. And that's all I want. I just want people to be comfortable for the night and just make new friends and come away with it with a big smile on their face. And it just means so much to me to be able to see everybody enjoying themselves. And the dance floor, when you see the dance floor constantly packed, for me, that's a good night. That's a sign. I used to work in catering many years ago before before I got Afterlife self-published and everything. And I used to do weddings. And you could always tell a really good wedding was like based on the dance floor and based on the smiles on people's faces. And it wasn't based on how much they drank or anything like that. It was just certain ones had really good vibes. And that's kind of what I've always kind of aimed for. And I understand why a lot of authors don't do the whole big ball thing. That for us is that is a big part of the
Yeah,
workload.
what's in the name? It's in the name.
Well, yeah, and
Yeah.
at the end of the
There's lots of
day,
ball games. Yeah.
Yeah, I would. I just wanted to do something different when it came to a book signing. Like I've done a lot of book signings and a lot of big book signings as well. And I'm not bashing other book signings.
No,
I
of course
know
not.
that
Yeah.
they're really difficult and stuff. You've got a lot of stuff that you kind of accounting for and everything. And a lot of people you want to make happy. But sometimes I feel like it's a little bit too corporate-y in a sense. I don't know whether that makes sense, but it's like,
No.
I just
Well,
you
it's
want
like
to
a
inject
conference
that
room.
fun, that magic. And I think the
Yeah.
venues have a lot to
A
do with
lot
that.
to do.
You know,
Yeah.
St. George's Hall, where we did the last one in Liverpool, it just had that such a regal kind of influence on it. And, it was stunning venue. And obviously this year we're in a cathedral. So, and I think the next year, I think 2025, we're going to be holding it at like a big manor house, so that's really exciting. I can't wait to see that venue. I'm really excited for that. But it is for me all about the venue, and those venues are more expensive to hire. It's just the nature of the beast. But for me, I never want to just put it in a convention center or something like that. They work, they're very functional, and they work for a lot of signings, which is great. But I always wanted FFB to be something really different and really special, and that is the heart of it. And so that's I just hope many years more to come.
I mean, when we walked into the venue last year, our mouth was dropped. It was amazing. So,
and that's what I want. I want people to walk in and go, wow, like, look at it. I want people to look up, and go, wow, like they have done in every one we've done. And it just means a lot to me. And speaking of that, look what I have.
I was wondering. Yes.
I kept it here. It's like it's all safe and everything like that.
My gosh.
So I'm going to be bringing that. I've actually kept it out so it reminds me to bring it for you for the next event, because obviously
perfect.
So
that was actually a really good idea. Holly Patierno, one of the mods, she had those made before, so that way and all the mods brought it around, and it's a really cool idea to have all the authors when you're traveling, like from the States to England, and you can't bring 30 books with you. It's a really good idea to have something like that for everybody to sign for the occasion, and maybe just have a couple books. Another really good idea for people traveling is to do a suitcase within a suitcase. Holly Patierno did that as well. She did a monster suitcase and then a smaller suitcase with all her stuff in it. So then on her return trip, she bought a bunch of books at the book signing. She filled up the extra case with the books to bring back to the States.
Yeah, that's really clever.
She's a clever girl.
That's really good. I mean, those book trolleys as well are just excellent. I always feel sorry for people like with the massive bags, and this is why, like, usually. But I don't think it was advertised last year, because it was only like very last minute that we set it up, where we've got the book babysitter, where we basically people can drop off their books. And basically it's almost like a cloakroom only for books. It's like, well, here you go, pay £1 and you can get this ticket, and then we'll just keep your books here for you, and then we pay somebody then to man that station. Do you know what I mean? So because that then I just think that makes it nicer for when people are walking around and have a bit more freedom.
It's hard to love other books.
Exactly. So we'll be doing that this year.
Sorry, I'm losing light here. 1 second. Let me just get some more light in the room. I'm very lucky being in Florida. I can use natural light for all my lives. I don't have a Ring camera or anything. So but we had a room for food, and a lot of people didn't realize that during fiction fans in ball gowns. We didn't. I don't know if you knew that, but you knew that, right? There was a room that you could buy food.
Yes. Yeah, I know. And I think that's it. I think a lot of people
didn't
don't
realize it. Yeah.
No, and that's another thing that was always important to me, is to have a venue where people can actually go and sit down and buy food on the day, because, you know, not many people want to leave and then come back, but then you're there all day, and it is a long day for people to be walking around and lugging their books around their hall, and you know, so yeah, that's another thing that's always important to us, is that somebody is able to provide food on the day. So we will be having that at the next one, and you know, all the rest of them. So yeah, these are the little extras that I try and
there's
get in there.
Some crazy desserts there. I don't know if you remember, but they had some like cakes, some really good.
I never left my table.
I bet you didn't. You were so busy.
Whenever I do a signing, it's, unless I'm told, like when I was at Rare, that I have to leave. Like I remember I got told off at Rare because I was like, I had a queue of people. And then somebody came over and was like, yeah, I'd turn them away. And I was like, no, you're not turning them away. They've been stood there for an hour. I'm like sitting here and I'm signing. I'm like, if I get 5 minutes to shove something down my face, like, that's fine. But I'm like, you know, you've got people queuing for ages, and I feel bad for everybody waiting. It's like, there's no way I'm leaving that table like all day. And everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. Like, just leave Steph there. Let's just keep bringing her tea, and and I'm good to go. It's fine. You know, I'll just like munch behind like something for 2 minutes, and I think I had one bathroom break. I was like, yeah, and I just legged it.
It's a lot of work, you know, to do a sign. You know, it is. I did interviews all day long. I ended up switching out of my boots and putting on my tennis shoes.
Oh, I don't blame you.
I was all dressed up from the ankles up, and then I was walking around in tennis shoes because my feet hurt so bad, you know. So
no, I don't blame you.
Same thing again this year. Who knows? We'll see.
I think I might actually be having a standing up table where I do the sign-in, so that I can actually, because I'm always like up and down for people who want to take pictures and stuff like that, which is really, really sweet. But like, I had on these monster boots. I don't know if you remember them. They were like massive. It made me look like I was like taller than Blake, I think. But I kept on wobbling every time I got out of my chair. I was like, any minute now, I'm just going to go like this. And at one point, somebody handed me their baby, bless her, and her name's Odette, and she's the sweetest fan ever. But I saw her when she was pregnant at the first FFB, and then the second FFB, she brought her baby boy, and he was just the cutest. And I was like, I need to cuddle your baby. But then I was like, oh my God, I'm wearing the most unreliable shoes ever. Do not drop the baby. Do not drop the baby.
Don't drop the baby.
I'm like, that will be it. My career will be over. So,
oh my gosh. Yeah, it was fun. It was a blast. It was such a special time, you know.
Yeah. No, it really, really was. So yeah, and like I said, if anybody is interested in coming to the event, then you know, we do still have day tickets. We do still have a very few amount of day tickets and evening tickets available. But if you can't get this one, then look out for next year. I can say next year now. I'm always so confused at the beginning of the year, going next year, last year, this year.
I know, it's hard.
I don't know. But yeah, look out for when the tickets go on sale for the next year, because that's going to be even bigger. The venue's even bigger than the ones we've been for before. So yeah, we're very, very excited about that. Awesome. And we're thinking about creating FFB After Dark on the Friday, which is more kind of the erotica like kind of side of things, and having like very sexy shows included in that one. So yeah, we're still in the planning stages of it, but yeah, that's kind of, and I won't mind. It was really funny because it was me, Libby, and Claire, and we were out and just drinking. We kind of had a day going shopping and drinking in Shrewsbury, and we were in this random pub because Libby was obsessed with the idea of going on a pub crawl. And we ended up in this random little pub and ended up talking about different things that kind of just randomly led into, oh my God, FFB After Dark. And then that was it. Then there was so many ideas coming out after that. And I was like, we have to do this. We have to do it. So that might be the evolution of the next one, can we say? So
that would be awesome.
yeah,
That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. What a neat idea.
And the difference between the next venue as well is it's a place that there's a lot of places you can actually stay at the venue as well, which I think is quite nice. You know, there's obviously a lot of hotels around the area, but we can also, the venue can actually also put on coaches. So to take people, like pick people up from the town, because obviously it's a manor house in the middle of the country. So like actually drive people, drop them off at the venue and then drive them back in the evening. And I just think that's a really nice touch.
That's cool.
So that you've not got a load of people going, how do I get back? You know, so there's little things like that we're always trying to like step up and just make the experience nicer for obviously the attendees that, you know, pay the tickets to come and stuff like that. We just want people to walk away from it going, that was such a good weekend.
Yeah.
You know,
and it is. And it is.
No.
Awesome.
Thanks. Yeah, no, I love it. I do. So, yeah. Oh, hello. Oh, I've got tea now. I had this at the beginning, which is nearly gone, and now he's brought me tea. Unless it's your tea, isn't it? Oh my God! Did you seriously? Is it your tea? It's his tea. I thought he was bringing me tea. And all right, okay, I'll carry on with mine then. I feel bad now.
A lot of people ask if we're going to be filming live from the authors panel, and yes, because I'm hosting, we're going to be filming live. Like I'll be filming live the entire time. So you guys will get to see it if you can't go, because you know, for some of us in the States, that's pretty hard to get over to the UK. But,
exactly. I mean, the thing is, you know, we would love to eventually get this over in the US.
Yes.
You know, people have been asking, and you know, it would be absolutely great, but it's such a hard thing to arrange something.
The logistics
when
is really tough.
Yeah, when you don't live in the country. And the US is so big, it's like, you know, it's like every time I've done a poll, even for, you know, I did in 2022, I did a US book signing. Obviously, you remember, because I came and saw you in Florida.
The first time I met you. Yeah.
Yes, it was. Yeah, and it was absolutely fantastic. But I remember doing a poll, and I picked obviously the 3 places that got the most votes. But it's really difficult because everybody's just so spread out. And you know, our biggest thing is we've tried in the past, but unfortunately, a lot of people didn't actually want to book that far in advance. Everybody was like, well, I don't know what I'm doing like in 9 months' time. And you're like, well, you know, I think what people don't realize is that unless you get the ticket sales, you can't actually fund the event.
Yes,
you know,
exactly. Yeah.
And you know, the last thing you want to do is pay, you know, tens of thousands for an event, because obviously these events are really not cheap.
They're not cheap. To book the space, it's not cheap.
Yeah, and not be able, you know, to have like a quarter of the people that that's, you know, you think is going to turn up, a quarter of the people turn up, and you know, it ends up like you're massively then out of pocket. So it is a huge gamble. But in the UK, it's a little bit different, because I think people are so used to, you know, booking tickets for an event in a year's time. It's almost like it's just they don't think about it. So of course you then are able to, you know, pay for all of the things that, you know, you need to pay for. So it's a tricky one.
I think a lot of it too has to do with the fact, like, England is, you know, I don't know, a lot of people may not realize this. I'm sure you do, Stephanie, but England is so small compared to the United States.
It's tiny.
You can fit England in the state of Texas.
Yeah.
So, and then you guys have way better public transportation than we do.
Yeah.
So for someone to book something 9 months out, you know, really you're looking at, like, what's your longest train ride to be in England? Like from the furthest point to the first point, how long on a train is it?
Well, I mean, the thing is, like,
4 hours? Not even that much?
It depends. I mean, obviously, you know, you can go from the tip of like Scotland, but if you were just going England, then
just England.
Yeah, you could probably get from, you know, north to south well, I mean, I got a ticket from, for example, London takes me 2 hours to get to Manchester, and that's probably like a 5 hour, well, 4 hour, 5 hour car journey sometimes, depending on the traffic. So if I was to go further than that, like say Southampton, you know, a train ride is probably an hour away from London. So 3, 4, you're probably looking about 4, 5 hours to get from south to north.
So that's like the extreme, right? But then if you do
Yeah.
the middle, then it's far less. But like if you, so I was reading this book today where there's, I think, an auction in San Francisco. Does that sound familiar to you? That a book, an auction in San Francisco. I think it might be a siren book, potentially.
Oh, you mean mine?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. Oh my God, I was having such a
I was like, there's an auction in San Francisco. I'm pretty sure that's what I just read before this morning, that there's an auction. Maybe it changes, but at the very beginning of the book. So anyways, I was making a joke about.
I know. Do you know what? I was having a total blonde moment, and it just
do well.
Literally just went over my head. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I forgot about my own books that I write.
But if you made like, let's say you dropped the event in, like, I'm in Florida, so if you dropped the event in San Francisco, like, you know, and it's like 9 months ahead of time, like that is like, if I had a straight connection from Orlando to San Francisco, that is almost a 6-hour flight. Yeah. You know, so it's just entirely different, you know.
Yeah,
so
it is. It is. It's massively different, and I think that's the thing. You know, I mean, like I said, we rode from Florida all the way to Vegas, and so you know,
on motorcycles.
Yeah, we did. It was the best. It was the best holiday ever. I absolutely loved it. But you know, I mean, we absolutely loved like riding through America. I mean, the sights, and we did a lot of the back roads as well because we wanted to see the small towns and we wanted to see more of real America rather than just being on the highway type thing, where you don't see that much. So, but yeah, we absolutely loved it. And like I said, it was really nice. Just, you know, I would love to be able to do one of these events in America. And I think that's like the big goal type thing. Yes. But I think it would need a lot of planning. And
that might be a good like relationship between, you know, Fangirl Romance Rex and
exactly.
You know, that's a good, like, we're a nice marriage, right, between the two working together. So
definitely.
Never know. Never know. You know, I mean,
you
would ask me 2.5 years ago if I was going to be hosting a book signing for author Stephanie Hudson of Afterlife Saga, my favorite saga of all time. I would have laughed at you. You know,
bless you. I love that though. I love it. I love like the unexpected, the happy unexpected in life. I mean, that's just
so blessed. Yeah.
No, that's lovely.
And I have to say one more thing too. When you were talking about the motorcycle and how you went across the country, guys, anyone who's like still on, like they Stephanie and Blake needed a place to drop their suitcase, and I have a little Honda PCX. It's like a little it's a scooter, but it looks like a motorcycle. So I don't want to call it a scooter, like a moped, but it looks like a motorcycle. And it was so cute. And so they came in their Harley, right? You had a Harley, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Massive thing.
Yeah, your Harley. And you dropped off the suitcases at the house because you need somewhere to stay because you're flying back out of Orlando. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
So I was telling them about like the scenic route, and I was trying to explain to them like how to get the scenic route to go near the Space Center. And there's Blake trying to get on his GPS and nothing's working. And I'm like, shoot, I'll just drive you there. So I hopped on my scooter, my motorcycle. They were on their motorcycle, and we were like a little biker club. We were little.
Yeah, it was so cute. Oh my God, it was so cute. I loved it.
That was one of those surreal moments. Like, in what world would I be riding on a motorcycle next to Blake and Stephanie Hudson? Like,
so funny. I remember feeling really, really bad because I didn't end up waving to you goodbye because I was so like I didn't know at that point you were going to go, but like I saw the space station and I freaked out. I was like, oh my God, there's a space station! I was filming it, and then all of a sudden you went off, and I was like, oh my God, I'm like on the comms to Blake, and I'm like, I didn't say goodbye. She's gonna think I'm so rude, and I'm like, well, you were screaming in my ear about the space station.
It was cool.
I was like,
it was just like, wow, you know. Anyways, but Well, Missy, this has been amazing. This has
Yeah, it
been so
has.
amazing.
No, it has. And yeah, it's gone so quick. Oh my God.
I know. Like you and I, we're the talking team, man.
I know. I remember we went to, didn't we go to Bubba Gump's?
Yes, we did. We went to Bubba Gump in Orlando. And
Yeah.
oh, yes, that's right. Okay, so they were actually at Universal Studios and we were trying to meet up that whole weekend, but it was hard to get a
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then they reached out and said, "Do you want to meet up at Bubba Gump and or Universal City Walk?" And I said, "Sure." And I said, "Are you sure? Because like this is your park time. Like you paid for your park ticket, and you're gonna leave the park to meet me for dinner."
Oh
And they're
no.
like, "No, yeah, this is the kind of people they are, right?" So
Oh, bless
I
you.
showed up there. We were sitting there talking for 4 hours.
Yeah, we were. I
4 hours.
remember. Yeah.
Just sitting there talking, the three of us for four
Oh,
hours. Yeah,
it was so nice though.
it
It
was
was,
so nice.
yeah, it was like, and then you very kindly accepted our luggage.
I know. I'm like, sure, I'll take your luggage.
Yeah, it's like it's fine. Just drop it
Okay.
off. It's
I
like
can
it's
put
all
it in my house.
I felt so bad. Like, I was so embarrassed. Like, because obviously I bought way too much for the kids. I was just like, because my dream has always been to go to Florida. So obviously this is the first time I've been, and I just got so excited in Orlando, in Universal, and Blake was like, we have to take all of this shit back with us, and I'm like, I know, and he's like, yes, but where are we going to put it while we're on this bike? I was like,
So funny.
I'm
Okay.
so unpractical. I really am.
So who is one of your favorite authors that you've never met that's kind of would be a fangirl moment for you?
I had my fangirl moment. So
Oh,
I absolutely, yeah, way back then. I mean, I've had quite a few. I really like Kristen Ashley. Some of her stuff is great, and she's quite versatile. But at the time, I read Susan Wright.
yes,
And she's
right.
from Liverpool. She's a Scouser, bless her. And I, love Scousers. A lot of my family's from Liverpool. So anyway, I reached out when I first started writing, and well, no, when I'd written, I was looking into self-publishing. And she was one of the only authors that ever got back to me, and she actually replied with an email with loads of great advice, and I was just so humbled and just really blown away at the fact that she was so humble and messaged me back and wanted to help, and we ended up signing at Rare together. This was 2019. We ended up signing at Rare together, and I ended up getting a moment to run over and was like, "Oh my God, it's Susan Wright!" Had like a proper fangirl moment. She was like, "I know who you are," and she remembered chatting to me, and she'd followed my career, and it was like I just fell in love. If you haven't read Feral Sins,
I see it recommended all the time. I've seen it recommended all the time. I keep meaning to pick it up, to be honest.
It's so different. It's obviously a shifter series, and the first one is that's the best book for me. I mean, it always will be. But the character development is so good. They're so funny and unique, and it's just it just had me laughing, and it's very sexy, and the main male character is really hot, and she is really sassy, and it was just a really good book. So I was I was made up to actually see her, and she was such a lovely. I mean, I had like literally about 2 minutes because she had like loads of people, and I'd literally just ran at her, and I was like, "It's okay, I'm another author, it's fine." I'm like waving my badge around, going, "Look, I promise it's okay."
Well, imagine you've just met Susan Wright, and she needs help with her luggage. And you're like, "Okay,
sure,
luggage in my house."
I'll take that for you. That's absolutely fine.
The luggage is there. She's gone, and it's in the corner of the room. And you're like, "Oh my God, Susan Wright's luggage is in my living room."
I wouldn't mind, but if you'd have ever opened it, it would have literally exploded like universal, like merchandise everywhere. There would have been nothing but universe. It would have looked like I'd robbed a shop.
No,
seriously,
I wouldn't, and no.
No, I'm joking.
Which you would tell too, because there's no way I probably could pack it the way you probably ever packed it. But yeah, no, it's just so funny. Yeah, no, fangirl moment. But
oh, bless you. That was really sweet. Oh no, it was lovely. I think that's the thing. I think I think I've always prided myself on the. I never. I always I'm very grounded. I don't and I like to surround myself with people who will, say no to me and, tell me when I'm being an idiot or I'm, that's not very realistic, that stuff, that type of thing. And I surrounding myself by people care enough to say no to me, I think is a very important thing. I don't want people who just tell me what I want to hear all the time and and say yes to me. But I also pride myself on, at the end of the day, anybody can do what I do. It's just passion and a story. But everybody needs to be, I remember the days when I was cleaning toilets. I remember the days when I couldn't afford to buy groceries. I remember the day when I was ringing up my landlord, making every excuse under the sun but why I couldn't pay the rent, and I force myself to remember those times because it makes me appreciate every single day that I get to do and live my dream every day. And it is all because of people like yourself, like, fans out there. And, they deserve my time. They deserve my respect. And yeah.
I'm not laughing at what you're saying because I love that about you. I love that about you. Someone just comment on here, just popping back on. How many times have they tried to say bye? I saw that.
I think we were trying to say bye for about 20 minutes.
That was a very touching moment that you just had, and I was really,
and you were laughing through my touching moment. Do you know what? I rehearsed that in front of the mirror. I don't know how many times.
It was very good.
Ruined by Oscar's speech.
No, but and when I sat with you guys, at Bubba Gump's and on Universal, and we sat there for 4 hours. I mean, just so down to earth,
Thank you.
I actually thought at the table, you don't know that I thought this, but I thought this, that, I'm sitting here with a best-selling author that many would think is, oh, did I just lose you?
No, I still see you. You went black. You blacked out.
I get a lot of you probably get a lot of messages on Messenger. I get a lot of messages on Messenger from the group, and 2 seconds there's one that's popping down.
Yeah.
Swipe. Next time I need to close it. But I literally did have that thought. I was sitting there. I'm like, to many, you are a celebrity, and and you guys are so down to earth, and we're sitting there at this booth, and I had the thought. I'm like, I don't think anyone around us would ever know that you are a best-selling author celebrity if they didn't know what you look like from your book, because you don't come across hoity-toity, posh, all these different things. You're not full of yourself at all. You're just grounded and down to earth. And the two of you are sitting there, just cool, casual, and I love that about you guys. So
thank you. Yeah, I mean, I love people, and I think everybody deserves respect, no matter whether you are a multi-billionaire or whether, you work at a supermarket. As far as I'm concerned, we're all on a level playing field. And, you've always got to remember anything can change for any person. But, circumstances and things like that, the billionaire could lose all of his money tomorrow and the supermarket lady can win the lottery tomorrow. But you should never, ever forget who you are at your core. And that is the most important thing. You should never forget where you came from. You should never forget the people that got you to where you, or helped you get there. Exactly. And you should always, I think, I don't believe in jealousy. I believe in, if somebody is really, really successful, I'm really happy for that person that's successful. Do I feel jealous of the person more successful than me? No, it just makes me strive to want, if I want something, if I want what they've got, I try and make it happen, because that means more to me to try and make something like that happen than somebody just handing it over. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. And I just think that you just, you know, we're all people, and we all deserve like the same level of respect, no matter what you do, where you've come from. Yeah, that's the thing. So, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And then I think it's one of the reasons I'm in a lot of Facebook groups.
Yeah,
I'm,
I
I'm in
bet.
a, I'm in a lot of author groups. I'm in a lot of Facebook groups.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually laugh. Okay, I got a notification right now. They're going to be a launch. I live right next to the Space Center, so I did it again. Hold on. There you go. Now it's gone. Okay, there we go. There. Okay, sorry. But I'm in a lot of Facebook groups, and I think that's one of the reasons why your Facebook group is so active. You know, and so it really has that book bestie vibe feel, kind of like our group does.
Yeah.
Because of you being, you're always so relatable, and you're also very transparent. You
Thank you.
know, you let everyone know what's going on as it goes on, and you do lives, and you're just
Yeah.
very honest about things, and people love that. You know, they want to get to know. There's so many people out there that want to love a story, but they also want to love the author, and they
Yeah.
want to support the author. And so I think that has a lot to do with how successful you have been and your group has
Thank
been,
you.
and Hudson Indie Inc. and all of that. You know, FFB. It's, you know, it's done really,
No,
really well.
I really appreciate that. That's very, very
Yeah.
kind of you to say.
So.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I think, you know, there's I totally get it. I totally get, you know, why some authors are, you know, kind of pull back and stuff like that. And I've probably in the other end of the spectrum, where I've embraced it and wanted to include people in kind of the journey and everything. But one of the nicest things is, you know, when you do see from the group, you know, groups of people that have met at one of your events. I mean, the first event that I ever did, I invited 100 people I'd never met to my house and threw a party for everybody.
When you told me that,
Yeah.
like, you crazy.
I know. But the beautiful thing is, at the last event, there was a table full of ladies there that had met at that party, and still, you know, 9 years later, they're still meeting up every year. And you know, friendships have developed because of these events and because of the group. You know, people talk to people and connect, and that is what I love. I love the, you know, it's just being at the core of that, and knowing, you know, kind of the seed, like what you've created, and everybody else is the tree that just grows from it, is just, it's a beautiful thing for me to witness. And you know, yeah, it's one of my favorite things of what I do. So yeah.
And that's how I feel too about the group. You know, every now and then we'll get a post where someone's thanking the group and appreciative for having a positive place and all that kind of stuff, and it's just like, you know,
Oh, it does.
like,
It gets to you, 'cause it's so nice, because you feel good. You've created something that, you
that's
know,
positive and
yeah, that's it.
kind, and it's giving back to the, you know, all these authors. And you know, like, we
Yeah.
try really hard to give, even though we don't do the promotions and stuff, we try really hard to give space for authors to do things.
Yeah, I love that.
You know,
Yeah.
and I've had so many authors message and say, oh my gosh, thank you so much for we have a community chat on Wednesdays for ARC readers, so authors can drop their sign up forms. And some of the newer, greener authors that don't have a fan base don't have no way of getting a team of people to read their book. Like, they know, like, they have like their best friend and, like, you know, their mom. You know, they need a group of people who love paranormal romance, because they write paranormal romance, to be ARC readers, and they don't know how to pick them up. And you know, so we do the community chats, and I get authors message me all the time saying, oh my gosh, I got 50 ARC readers from this community chat. Like, this is amazing, you know. And that just that tickles me pink. Or I'll get like an author will message me because, like, you know, I do the emoji reviews. And I post them kind of everywhere, and on Amazon and Goodreads and all that kind of stuff. And I'll get an author message me and say, that was the sweetest review. And oh my gosh, like I shot up on the bestseller list. And I was like, oh, you know,
Oh,
like the power of people posting in the group, all the people who post and all the people who love on it does so much for authors. It
yeah.
really does.
I
You
think
know?
that's the thing as well. And it's quite, you know, being an author, when you're writing, and you obviously know this yourself because obviously you write, you know, it's a
Yeah,
very lonely process,
it
you know.
is. It is.
It's you and your world.
Yeah.
Um,
In your
but it's
cave.
still just you know. So, but by, you know, reading the reviews and having the fans reach out and recommend your books and all of this and follow you on your social media platforms and stuff like that, then it's less lonely
Yes.
because you're inviting people into your world, you're inviting people into
And
your
they're
passion,
excited about it. And they're excited about it. And
yeah,
that is like, and they love it like you love it. You know, that's like, I've been really blessed this early on. I have a team I already have an alpha team. It's crazy,
yeah,
you know, and they all love the book. I've been very lucky. And it's just to hear their reactions and stuff. And it's like, wow, once this goes out, like I can't imagine, like let's say it does, you know, even partially as well as this alpha team is doing. I just the excitement, right? That people get into it and commenting and then dropping their pictures of what they think they can. I already have fan art. Already one of the alpha
I
readers
love it.
did fan art for me. I was like, Holly Edgerton. I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy,
Oh,
you
that's
know?
so sweet.
It's just like,
It's such an exciting time. It
I am
really
excited.
is.
I am
Oh,
excited.
good.
Yeah. So.
Oh,
All right. Well, we will, as people are saying, we will go on forever. This will go
I
on
know,
for
I know.
hours.
Clearly, I think we've just spent another 10 minutes trying to say bye, and that didn't
Yeah.
work. This is how we ended up doing, like, you know, dinner for 4 hours.
It
People are
is.
not shocked.
It is. We don't, but we also have a lot of fun too. You know,
Yeah, of
it's just
course. Of
fun.
course.
So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, we'll have to check out. Like, I've been seeing a lot of the comments pop up as it's going on. I know you haven't seen the comments, so you'll have to. There's been a lot of really, really nice comments. So we'll have to
Oh,
check it
well,
out.
thank
Yeah.
you very much for everybody and all your lovely comments that I can't see, but I look forward to going back and having a look what everybody was saying. But thank you so much for all of the love and yeah, for all the support and everything and being a fan. And yeah, you guys are awesome. So a lot of love.
Yeah. And thank you everyone watching for loving the groups like you do and being FFB fans and Stephanie fans and all that. It's all so exciting.
Yeah,
It's just
so good.
it's happy. Yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
bless you.
All
Well,
right.
thank you so much for inviting me on and arranging it all. And thankfully, I didn't have to do anything technology-wise. Otherwise, something probably would have exploded. But yeah, thank you so much. So,
All right, no worries.
and we'll
All
have to do this again, maybe sooner, maybe closer up to the time, and we can get people excited about it and stuff like that. You know, we can do this again sometime. So yeah, that's awesome.
Let's
So
definitely do it. Definitely. All right. All right. Well, it's fun
okay,
seeing you. Bye, guys. Thanks so much for joining us.
bye,
Talk to you later. Bye.
bye,
We're
bye.
saying goodbye. We are
Yes,
actually saying
we're doing
goodbye.
it. We've done it.